Hello class, I'm Charlie Hearn, and I'm going to be teaching you about comparing and contrasting different events over stories. And we're going to be playing a game called Turn the Page. So here's our learning strategy. I can compare and contrast events over multiple texts. Why is this important? So when you're looking at text and you see words that you don't know, you can rely on events from other stories to help you figure out what those words mean. And also, a lot of stories take borrowed information from other ones. So when you're able to compare and contrast, you can use your context clues from previous stories to help you figure out what's going on. Okay, I'm going to give you some common events and stories. First, you have the introduction of the hero, or the main character. Such as once upon a time, there was a little girl named Cinderella. The journey the hero takes is another big event in stories. For Cinderella, she had to travel all the way to the ball in her pumpkin carriage. And then there was a conflict with the hero, and one of Cinderella's conflicts was that she was only able to live like a princess until midnight. Okay, we're going to be comparing and contrasting our first two stories. I'm going to help you out, okay? So our first story is Star Wars. Are you familiar with Star Wars? Okay, that's good, that's good. So our scenario. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a young farmhand named Luke Skywalker had to fly in space to the Death Star to save Princess Leia from Darth Vader. So we have the introduction of our hero, a young farmhand named Luke Skywalker, and he had a journey. He had to fly in space to the Death Star, and to complete his conflict, he had to save Princess Leia from Darth Vader. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Our next story is Miraculous Ladybug. Are you familiar with that show? Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's our scenario. One day, Cat Noir was walking around Paris. Suddenly, Cat Noir saw that a villain known as Hawkmoth had turned people into evil monsters. To save the people of Paris, Cat Noir ran through all of Paris to find his superhero partner and save the city. So, our introduction of the hero, what do you think it is? Cat Noir. Yeah, he was walking around Paris, right? What was the conflict with the hero? Yeah, he was turning people into villains. And then the journey the hero makes, I think, is that he was traveling through all of Paris to find his partner, right? Okay, so now we've identified our events. Next, we're going to compare and contrast these two stories. So what are some similarities that we notice between the two?
Both the heroes are guys.
Both the heroes are guys, yeah. What are some other ones? They both journeyed. They both took a journey to go to their destination, yeah. So both stories had a conflict where the hero had to save someone, and both stories had a male hero. But not all stories had a male hero, and that's okay, right? So what are some differences that happened with this?
In Star Wars, Luke had to save Princess Leia, and in Cat Noir, he was preventing people from being turned into monsters.
Yeah, anything else? That's okay, let's see what we have here. So Luke's journey was about getting to the conflict, and Cat Noir's journey was about stopping the conflict, right? And then the order of how the events came up in each story. We already saw one conflict happen first, and the second, and then the journey, and then the other one, it was a journey and then the conflict. But both can happen, right? Okay. Next, we have two more stories, Little Red Riding Hood and Jack and the Beanstalk, but I do need some help to do these stories. Can I have a volunteer to be Little Red Riding Hood? Okay, will you come do that for me? You can put on this cloak. We're gonna pretend it's red, okay? And then can I have someone be the wolf? Anyone, it's okay. Okay. You have these fun wolf ears to help you get sharp, right? Here you go, you can have your basket. Okay. So, the way that Turn the Page works is I'm gonna say something, and then if I say Little Red Riding Hood said, you'll repeat it, right? And if I say turn the page, it's time for the next scene, okay? Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood, and she was walking through the forest, and she said, I have baked goods for granny.
I have baked goods for granny.
But then suddenly, a wolf came up and said, I want those goods.
I want those goods.
And so Little Red Riding Hood said, no way, man.
No way, man.
And the wolf walked away.
Oh.
Turn the page. Okay. Little Riding Hood came up to her grandmother's house and said, who's there?
Who's there?
And then the wolf said, it's me, your grandmother.
It's me, your grandmother.
And Little Riding Hood said, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And the wolf said, oh yes.
Oh yes.
And the Little Riding Hood said, "You're the wolf.
You're the wolf.
Bye."
Bye.
And that's Little Riding Hood. Okay, I need my next story now. Thank you so much. Let's give everyone a round of applause. Okay, now we're gonna do Jack and the Beanstalk. Can I have someone be Jack for me? Okay, and can I have someone else be the giant? Thank you so much. So the giant, you're gonna wear this crown, and you're gonna have these dollar bills, okay? Inside here's some coins. And I'm gonna put these here for you, okay? Okay. Oh, sorry, we're actually gonna talk about Little Riding Hood first. So how, y'all can just step over to the side, I'll get to you in a second. So how was our hero introduced? Remember, it was once upon a time, there was a story about Little Riding Hood, right? And then what was the journey that our hero made? What was she doing with the baked
Trying to get
goods?
to her granny with her treats.
Yeah, and then what was the conflict?
The wolf trying to take them.
Right, great recap. Okay, once upon a time there was a boy named Jack and he had a big beanstalk. And Jack was very poor. He said, "I have no money.
I have no money.
I gotta find some money."
I gotta find some money.
So he was like, "Look at this beanstalk, y'all.
Look at this beanstalk, y'all.
I wonder if there's money up there."
I wonder if there's money up there.
I bet there is.
I bet there is.
Turn the page. Jack climbed the beanstalk and said, "Whoa, there's a castle in the clouds."
Whoa, there's a castle in the clouds.
And then a giant walked up and said, "This is my castle in the clouds.
This is my castle in the clouds.
Look at this, I have a crown, I'm a king."
I have a crown. I'm a king.
And Jack said, "Do you have any money?"
You got any money?
And the giant said no.
No.
And then Jack said, "Look over there, there's a bird."
Look over there, there's a bird.
And stole the money. And the giant said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, where's my money?"
Whoa, 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 where's my money?
And Jack said, "I don't know."
I don't know.
Okay, that's our story, right? Y'all can go sit down. Thank you so much. So obviously these are really simplified versions of our story, but we're gonna also use what we know previously about them. But thank you so much for that. That was a really big help. Okay, how is our hero introduced?
Poor boy named Jack.
There was once a poor boy named Jack. Very nice. What is the journey that the hero made?
I don't know the beanstalk.
Climbing up the beanstalk. And then what was the conflict with our hero?
The giant?
The giant, or what was another one? Stealing, and also he was really poor. Okay. Let's talk about the similarities and differences between these two stories. Let's think about how both of our heroes are introduced.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. What about, was there any other conflict with their journeys or with their conflicts? Any similarities between those? It's okay if you can't think of any.
Or both have someone trying to stop them from doing what they want.
Sure, yeah, that's a really good one. So both of our heroes are young kids. Both of our heroes are young kids, and both journeys involve helping the hero's own family. Okay, differences. What are some differences between the two? There was a lot here.
Little Red Riding Hood is a female and Jack's a male.
For sure. What else?
Little Red Riding Hood's journey is simpler than Jack's.
Yes, yes.
It's a walking, it's a climb the beanstalk.
Exactly. What else?
They have different names. There's a wolf and there's a giant.
Yes. Okay. And then one other big one is that Little Red Riding Hood as the hero had people taking from her, and Jack was the person taking from others, right? Okay. We have two more stories, and I'm going to read them out to you, but these stories are completely made up. And I'm going to give you Venn diagrams, and we're going to write about them, okay? And these stories, you're going to think about the events, and then we're going to go over them, okay? Okay. Story 1. Once there was a little boy riding his bike. He was hungry and heard the ice cream truck. He wanted ice cream, so got some money by biking all the way back home. But when he got in line, a bully stole all of his money. Got it? Okay, here's our next story. Story 2. There was once a little girl who loved swimming. This summer, the girl spent time at home because the swimming pool had no water. The girl wanted to swim so bad that she found a nice switch that filled her pool with water if she played a game of tag. The girl played tag, the witch filled the pool with water, and the girl now could finally swim. Okay, here are some questions we're going to think about when we're comparing and contrasting, okay? How are our heroes introduced to both stories? What are the conflicts in both stories? What type of journeys are the heroes facing? Do both stories end happily for the hero, and why? And what are some things that are the same in both stories, and what are some things that are different? You don't need to answer all of them. These are just questions to help you think about when you're writing your Venn diagram. And if you want to go back to a story, just let me know, or if you have questions, just let me know. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to go and think about those in your Venn diagram, okay? Do you need any help? Are you good? Do the second story? Perfect. What about the first story too now, okay? All right, a few more seconds and then we're going to talk about it, okay? Okay. Oops. Let's go back to our questions. How are our heroes introduced in both stories?
They're both doing something they like.
Yes, they're both doing something they like. What are the conflicts in both stories? Are they the same or are they different?
Different.
How are they different?
The little boy's being bullied and the girl wants to know his name.
Yes. What type of journeys are our heroes facing? This one's a little bit different, so I'm gonna help you with this, okay? So the boy's journey, is he going somewhere or is he doing something? What is he doing?
Buying ice cream.
Buying ice cream. So that is so true. That's what he's getting at the end of his conflict. But his journey is he's going back home to get money, right? And then he has the bully steal from him. But he wants ice cream so bad. What is the girl when she's swimming? What is her journey?
It's like public swimming, like hard swimming.
Yes, and she's playing that game of tag, right? Do both stories end happily for the hero?
No.
No. Why?
Because in the first story, the boy didn't get his money for the bully stole.
No, he didn't even get his ice cream. What about for the girl?
Yes, she learned how to swim.
Yes, that was so good for her. And what are some things that are the same in both stories?
They're both kids.
They're both kids, for sure. Also, they both have another outside force helping them. There's the witch and then the bully. He's not really helping them, but he's adding to the story, right? And what are some things that are different?
The girl accomplished what she wanted.
Yes, and the boy did not. That was so good, y'all. So we're gonna do one final thing as our closing activity. And we're gonna think about, excuse me, all of our stories and just say a few things that are the same and a few things that are different and why that might be. So what is the same with our heroes being introduced? What were some things we noticed that were the same?
They were doing something they liked.
They were doing something they liked.
And they were both kids.
They were all kids. What about even from the Star Wars and Little Red Riding Hood? There was a lot of kids in those too. What are some things that are different?
The little girl got a happy ending, the boy didn't.
The boy did not.
There's different villains.
There was different villains. They were doing different things. What was different about Star Wars and Jack and the Beanstalk?
The setting.
The setting, for sure. Jack and the Beanstalk was on a farm, and Star Wars was in space. What about Little Red Riding Hood and the girl that was swimming? They were both girls, for one, right? They were both doing something they liked, going to see Granny and wanting to swim. What about differences in them?
One was like a fairy tale one, because one had like a wolf, like a, probably like a favorite pirate.
Yes, one was more real and one was more fairy tale like. That was so good, y'all. I think y'all should give yourselves a round of applause. That was so good. Thank you so much. Do you feel like you can compare and contrast stories now together?
Yes.
That is so good. I'm so glad you did that. Okay.